Oh, by the way, you come in when I say the word feel to be funny. Words feel to be funny. It'll make sense. Don't come in yet. Okay. Oh, hi. You're listening to Service from Hell, a podcast featuring people that are currently in customer service positions or the lucky few that got out and all of the good, bad, and infinitely irritating things that go along with that work. I'm actor and writer Kate Gaffney, and I'm uniquely qualified to discuss this as I used to work at a very busy and very popular comedy club in Los Angeles, and at least one of you listening right now has probably grabbed me and told me you were ready to order when I was running around like a crazy person. So let's eat. I'd like to welcome our guest, comedian Erick Hellwig. Erick is originally from everywhere and now lives out here in LA. He's also the host and creator of Bring in the Backups, which is a hilarious podcast you should all go listen to right now. Erick has a face you have for sure seen on your TVs before, from being on America's Got Talent, MTV, Nat Geo, National Geographic, folks, and Comedy Central. Of all of those, I desperately want to know about Nat Geo, but we'll get there. Erick also is eventually going to set up a Patreon where you can give him money, but for now you can just send him money and he will be stoked, and you can go to his website and it's really obvious how to do that. I better know Erick from the tiny world that is house parties on Halloween in LA, where his beloved wife decided that the movie Rudy was trash. She told me this, and I didn't light the house on fire and immediately leave. And she actually also talks about it on Erick's podcast, and she has a shot-for-shot reason why the movie's trash. I disagreed. It's fine. Go listen to the episode. Get real mad. That said, Erick, tell us how fun being a comic is. How is AGT? How much pressure do you feel to always be funny? Tell us all the things.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Was it Flappers?
Was what Flappers? Where I worked?
You said a successful comedy club. I assume it was Flappers.
No, because everyone's had a terrible time there. No, it was a comedy store.
No, I know.
Oh, okay.
There's only two clubs, but no, it's funny to shit on Flappers. I actually love Flappers. They give me so many spots. So out of all the clubs in LA, I like you were like, if there's anything you say that could get you in trouble in your career before we started recording, the first word out of my mouth was like, fuck the only place that gives me an opportunity.
No. Wait, why do you think people shit on it though?
Because people like to shit on things.
There it is.
And it's the easiest way to do it because it's the only club that gives them spots.
Hello.
And if there was another club that gave them spots, they'd shit on that place too because we're a bunch of miserable idiots.
Oh, it's so honest. We're starting so honest. Oh, I'm such a fan.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Like, there's no reason to shit on a place that's giving you an opportunity to perform.
Well,
you know?
I can tell you why from a reason I have heard is that because the city is a partial investor, like the city of Burbank is a partial investor in the property. That's why there's like a limit to how many alcoholic beverages you can consume as a customer, and why it's like, no. We're a restaurant. We are a full-blown restaurant. Do you want spaghetti? And they can get you all those things. It's because Burbank is an investor. I don't know if that's true, but I was told that.
Anyway, you can see me at Flappers next weekend. I'm doing 5 minutes in the Yoo-Hoo room at 2 a.m. Everybody should come check it out. It's going to be a really good time.
Order some spaghetti. We're going to have a great time.
Their food is great.
The food is great.
They do have very good food.
That's right.
What if this was the whole podcast? We never get to any of your other... We just evaluate Flappers.
I would love it, actually. I would really love it.
Do you have listeners? Are your listeners in like LA, or are they all across the globe?
They're all over the world, actually. Yeah, we have a global audience. The majority of our audience is in the US, but we have a global audience.
Oh, so this is a useless conversation to talk about a comedy club in Burbank, California.
Correct. No one knows what we're talking about.
Perfect.
That's fine. Let's lean in harder.
Yeah.
So how do you spell Flappers? Okay. No, truly, what do you like about... So what got you into comedy? Because you're a military child.
I'm a military child. It's never been said that way before.
Because people say Brad, don't they? And I think that's so rude. You're a military child.
Yeah. I'm okay with military brat, but a military child sounds cooler for some reason.
You're welcome.
What got me into comedy? I don't know. Like, I feel like I tried a lot of other jobs to, like I'll be like a funny teacher. I'll be like a funny journalist. Is my dog? Do you hear my dog?
I do, but he's he's real cute.
He is cute. Is it okay if he comes in?
Sure.
Is that gonna mess up the flow?
Yeah, no, bring him in. I'm gonna Gordon.
Leave this part in.
Okay, I am going to. Wait, he has the most adorable pit that looks like a tank. Hi, Gordon.
Oh my goodness.
Hi, Bubba. You want to get up here? Dad, block your space. You want to get up here? Okay. Oh,
He found it. Gordon found a bone.
found his bone.
Yeah, he's like, fuck you guys. I just want a bone.
Okay.
He's a baby.
So Gordon's gonna finish up.
Here, buddy.
Gordon, get up there. Good
I'm
boy.
gonna give you. Wait, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'll put it on the floor.
Just pass it over.
Oh, pass it over. Okay.
Yeah. Leave all of this in.
All of this is
all
staying.
good stuff.
This is all This feels good. This feels like the audience, not only do they not care about flappers, they don't care about the dog they can't see, but if you could see him, y'all would love him.
If you could see it, right now he's in a prime spot to get pets.
Yep. He's just doing it. And we go take a picture of him when we
You're
leave.
getting the my dog is cute full experience right now.
I love it. I mean, but he is cute.
I think it's very cute. It's a pit bull chewing a bone, so it could be viewed as horrifying by a lot of people. But
Well, it's a human bone, so it's a little uncomfortable. But it's, it's fine. He's having a good time.
his previous owner.
Good. Okay, wait. Go back. Why? So you're from the globe.
I'm from the globe. Yeah.
Okay. So what did that?
Why did I do comedy? That was the question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm fucked up. Next question.
Okay. Easy enough. And then, do you love it? Do you love doing comedy?
Oh yeah. I definitely. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. So at what point did you have enough times that you bombed in a row and you were like, I still want to do this? Or was there a point when you bombed 10 times in a row and you were like, fuck this, I'm out?
No. When I first moved to New York, I was 22. I had graduated college a year before.
Oh, you graduated early. You're very smart.
I did. Well, I started school overseas, so that's why I was a little young.
Nerd.
So yeah, I graduated college. I was 21, and then I kind of saved up money working at a timeshare company, which is, we can talk about that if you want. I'm ashamed, obviously.
Yeah, that's in the next section. So talk about all the good stuff now.
But then I moved to New York, and I started doing like everything, like because I didn't do anything creative really in college except for I hosted a radio show.
You have a radio
But I wasn't
voice.
like an actor. I didn't do stand up, or I just liked being funny with my friends, and we would like shoot sketches. So when I moved to New York, I was like, I'll do everything. So I took like I did stand up, I did improv, I did sketch, I did acting classes, and without a doubt, the hardest thing was stand up. Especially like that time in New York, people were really pretty mean. Like I'd say,
what does that mean?
Just like you would go up at a mic, and then the next 4 comics would just shit on you for being new.
Well,
and it was like, at the time, I like a lot of people that talk about that era of open mic. It's so dumb to call it an era, but they would say it toughened you up. For me, I was just like, this is miserable. Meanwhile, I'm in an improv class. I'm getting laid by the 3rd week. Like improv, everybody's like, and I'll suck your dick. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. That's a million times better. So I fell into improv for years in New York and didn't really commit to stand up until I was maybe 27 or 28.
Okay.
And now I've grown up and I stopped doing improv. But no offense if you still do improv, by the way.
You.
Do you do improv?
I do.
I'm so sorry.
The pandemic killed it. So I don't know who's doing it now.
Well-earned death.
Screw you. All right.
Did you do UCB? Where were you doing?
No, I did Second City's where I found my wings.
That's where I
and
started.
And then I did Second City Hollywood?
No, Second City used to be in New York.
Oh, get
So
out
I
of here.
took the last ever Second City class in New York.
Are you why they closed, do you think?
Yes.
Too
Yeah.
bad. Okay. So and then you did it out here, or you've only done
No, so I only did it in New York. So I
Okay.
did Second City, and
Okay.
then I graduated their whatever pilot New York class.
Yeah.
And then at my graduation, they were like, "We're leaving New York. This is the last class we're ever going to teach here."
Oh my God.
So maybe it was me.
I think it was your fault.
And then I did the Pit
Oh,
and
the Pit's-
UCB.
You didn't love the Pit?
No, I liked it. I just feel I don't want to shit on improv this early in the podcast.
Too late. You already did.
No, it's like I'm like my wife shitting on Rudy. Like you have another thing you love. This is just the
You're just here to hurt me.
ruin things that Kate loves podcast.
That is.
No,
Oh,
Gordon.
sorry. Okay, Gordon.
Did he drop the bone? All right, that's the femur of a man I murdered.
It's the skull, actually. Go ahead.
No, like I did it a lot, and there was a period where I was like I was not an actor, but because I was doing improv, I got a commercial agent, and then I started booking all these auditions. So my life kind of became about improv and acting, and it's not really what I wanted to do. I feel like it kind of took me away from just doing stand-up, which is what I was just too scared to do for a long time.
That's what I was going to ask. Okay.
So once I just committed to stand-up, I was like, oh, I think I need to be done with improv. Like, I don't think I didn't have it in me to do both. Yeah, I mean, did you ever see that improv movie with Birbiglia?
Yeah, I love that film, but it's honest.
That movie made me quit.
Get out of here. Because you're like, I don't want to live this life forever.
I went to go with me and my wife went to go see it. I literally like the movie. I don't even remember what it's called.
I don't either.
Don't Think Twice or something.
Maybe.
Stop Thinking.
Quit Your Job. I don't know.
Quit Your Job.
I don't know.
Yeah. Mike Birbiglia movie. Whatever it was. It's so, I like, it's like so impactful in my life. I don't remember the fucking title of it. So me and my wife went to go see it. I had taught 2 improv classes that day. And then I like ran to the theater. We met, we went and watched it. And the whole movie is like, first off, it's about an improv couple breaking up, which is what me and my wife were at the time. We were like a couple that met doing improv. And I'm also identifying with Birbiglia's character in the movie, which is not good. That's not the character you want to be in the movie. Like the desperate guy that got left behind by his improv students.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember like the movie ended. We like sat outside on a bench and talked for hours. I feel like we almost broke up. Like,
oh wow,
it was this really intense conversation about, I think I need to like change the direction of my life. Like I don't think this is what I want to be doing.
Oh wow.
And then about a week later, this is weird, but related. I passed out at the top of a flight of subway stairs because I was so exhausted. I was working all these jobs and doing improv and just trying to make improv my life. And I passed out at the top of a flight of subway stairs and fell down. Ooh. And I remember all I did is like, I remember being tired at the top and I woke up at the bottom and I couldn't move and my phone smashed in my pocket and I'm all like dazed. And so they take me to the hospital. I take a cab to the hospital. I was aware enough to not get in the ambulance. And then my wife came and met me. And it was like, they were saying, you rolled down 2 flights of stairs, passed out. Like you easily could have died. Like that's not, it wasn't like an easy pass out. Like I rolled for a long time. And it was just kind of like a jolt to the system of like, I'm going to quit improv. I'm going to get a day job and I'm going to do stand-up at night.
I mean, I think if I fell down multiple flights of stairs and was told I was going to die, that'd be a wrap for improv for me too.
Well, I wasn't told I was going to die. I was told you're very lucky you're not more fucked up than you are. Like I just had bruises all over my body.
You didn't break anything?
No.
Wow. Who called the ambulance? Did people circle you and be like?
I woke up and there was like people talking to me, but I couldn't get the words out to say thank you. Or it was insane. Like I guess that's what shock is. Like I was just in shock,
sure,
and couldn't like verbalize what I was feeling, and it was pretty crazy.
And so I want to go back though quickly because when Gordon, who's chewing the bone, audience. So if you hear that, get over it. It's just Gordon chewing the human bone.
That's going to be I listened to your last podcast and it was very loud at that guy's house.
Oh yeah.
But this is like a more dulled noise.
Yeah, that's right. That's accurate. I want to go back though, because before Gordon came in, you were saying you sort of were like, oh, I'll be a funny teacher or I'll be a this, that, or the other to not get in the lane of entertainment. So what was it that shifted it for you when you were like, I'm not doing the funny teacher thing anymore. Like I really am going to do entertainment.
Oh, it was failing at everything else.
Really?
It wasn't even like, it was not realizing that I could just go do comedy. Like that thought really didn't occur to me until after I graduated.
Oh, okay.
So like I was in school and I was doing journalism. I did that in high school and I love sports. So I was like, yeah, I'll be like a columnist. So I was doing that for a while. I just kind of burned out on it. And then I have 5 younger siblings,
Holy shit.
2 step siblings and then 3 real ones. I don't know how you say that.
Not fake ones.
I mean, they're my other siblings.
Biological siblings.
I have 5. That's the word.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Definitely not real and fake is not the right way.
I feel like that's right. What?
Biological is the word I was searching for, not real and fake. My step sibling, if they're listening, I think they do listen. I love you guys.
He rolled his eyes just then.
No, it was like I had like younger siblings, so I was like, I'm a good teacher. Like I like kids.
Okay.
So I entered I got into a program that was for like K through 6 education, and I was studying like 2nd, 3rd grade was like my age range.
Okay.
So I did that for like a year and a half, and then they put me in a classroom to be a teacher's assistant, and they let me choose the school. And at that time, I was watching The Wire, so I was like, I'll be like the cool white guy that goes into the hood and teach. And then I went into the school and was like, this is the fucking hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Why?
So I did that for like 6 months. Why?
Yeah, why was it so hard?
Because everybody, like, the economic situation's like really depressing. There was like 29 kids in the classroom. There's 29 kids in the classroom.
Too many.
I want to say it was like 25 or 26 boys.
Oh my God.
2nd grade. A lot of these kids have like single parent homes, brothers in prison, like just crazy shit going on that I would even hear from, I'm in a 2nd grade classroom. The school goes up to 6th grade. But when I'm hanging out with the other teachers, by the way, it was me and black women. That was it. I was the only non-black woman in the entire school. And they're talking about their students, and the stuff that they were dealing with in 6th grade was like beyond my understanding of the world. It was so fucking gnarly. So I just couldn't handle it. And I'd made that decision when I was teaching. Like, I don't want to go teach I feel like I'm all over the place. But when I was growing up, I was in a new school every year until high school, just because I moved so much because of my dad's job. So I'd been in like really bad schools. I've been in like preppy rich kid schools. I'd seen all the schools, you know? And so I was like, if I'm going to teach, I want to go to a school that actually needs good teachers. And so I put myself in that situation when I was 19 in college and was like, yeah, I'm not cut out for that.
Wow.
So then teaching kind of fell off. And then I was like, I don't even remember what my major was in college at that point, because I'd switched it already twice. So I think I have an English. I don't even know what my fucking degree is.
Do you have a degree?
I have a degree. It's in English, but I think I have like 3 minors. I think I have like a journalism minor, a communications minor, and then an educational minor.
Okay.
Because I took all these classes. I also have a leadership minor because I was in a leadership program. So I have like multiple things.
Who knew you could get a degree in leadership?
I was mediocre in many things in college. But the point is I had all these paths in life that I had like started to walk down and been like, no, that's not right. Walk down this other one. No, that's not right. And then the whole time I'd been doing a radio show with my friends where I just kind of fucked around on the, college radio station. And by the time I was a senior, I was like, maybe I can do this. Like, this is the thing I look forward to the most out of all the time I've been in college. I would like write sketches for my idiot friends who didn't do comedy and just hand them, be like, you read this part. And like, so it was like, as I was graduating, I kind of got into the idea of maybe I could just be funny as a job. And my girlfriend at the time was like an SNL fan. She found this class in New York where it was the Second City class.
Oh, shit.
It was like a 3-week intensive.
Okay.
And she was like, I'm taking this class. And I was like, well, I don't want to not go to New York. If you're going to New York, that sounds fun. So I signed up for the class and I came up to the city. We stayed in like a cheap hostel or whatever. And I just remember like the 3rd day of class, I did like an improv scene or something and I made everybody laugh. And I was like, oh, this is fucking what I want.
This forever.
This is amazing. Yeah. This is so much better than all the other, like trying to be like a good person. I'm going to be fuck that. I want to tell dick jokes on stage. So much better.
That's right.
So yeah, it's like I really feel like I found it, but I found it at the end of other broken paths that didn't work out.
Sure, that feels like the right way to get into comedy. Yeah. Truly, not being sarcastic. It's funny, you were the only other guest that I've had on that had a radio show in college. I also did. What up, Phil Herdlicka? Thank you for all your support. You're the best. We had a radio show too, and it was the most fun. And I feel like, because the stakes aren't very high. It's like it's college. It only airs to the 100 people that happen to be listening. It's like, good for you. Okay,
I remember we had like we did a show where like we got to 200 listeners and we were like, holy fucking shit. Like, I think we like celebrated by jumping in a water fountain after the show. Like, and 5 of the people that were listening came out for it. And we were like, this is what it's like to be famous.
Oh,
it was such a big deal at the time. And it's obviously like laughable now, but no, we had a great, it was really fun. It was really like, I think I fell in love with comedy doing that.
Yeah. Do you think this is going to pick up on the mic?
I have no idea. The truth is it's never as loud as I think it's going to be.
Okay.
Because when I'm doing my podcast, he chews here, and I'm
it
like,
doesn't.
This is like in stereo.
Yeah, and it doesn't pick up.
And then I can't really hear it too much.
Okay, perfect. That's great. He can stay. Okay, so
it is a little funny though if it is getting picked up in the mic.
I kind of want it to be because I'm keeping in his entrance. Like he made a grand entrance, and because it's a human bone, I'm more stoked on it. Okay.
He's also making direct eye contact with me as he chews.
He's like, "Bitch, don't kick me out of here. I'm staying." Okay, so I want to get up to so you shit all over improv and everything I love.
Sorry about that.
No, you're not. And then so you get into stand up in New York, but they're still beating the shit out of you in the under the veil of hazing of like you're getting tougher, which that shit makes me fucking insane.
Well, they're not thinking that when they're doing it. They're thinking, my dad touched me
as a
and
kid.
This is how I have to
channel it.
This is the only way to feel better.
That's
is
accurate.
To make this 22-year-old from
like Virginia
feel like a dickhead for moving up here.
How dare you try?
You know what's funny? I won't say names, but like there's a guy who was particularly terrible, and then like years later he wrote an article like on HuffPo or something that was like, yeah, I was wrong how I acted at Mike's. This is how you should act at Mike's. And I was like, bro, this is like the Terminator being like, whatever you do, don't rip out the yellow pages from a phone booth and go and kill everybody with the same name because that's what you've been programmed to do. It's like, I wasn't doing that. That's you. Yeah. Read your own article. You need to lecture us on how to fucking act.
Lecture
anyway,
yourself.
I won't name names.
Man, I want you to so badly. All right, fine.
We'll do it after.
Off the mic. Okay. So you're getting the shit beat out of you, but you're like, but this forever. And then what? Get us up to today. So you and your wife moved to LA and you're like, I'm going to do mics out there.
Yeah, no, it was so I was in New York. I feel like everybody in New York does mics. Like that's just like part of the comic culture there is, I mean, I would get up like 5 or 6 times a night for years.
Jesus.
Very different from LA.
Yeah.
And then I was like having a lot of success in just this commercial acting I was doing, and I was kind of getting burned out on it. And I wanted to do more stand up, and I thought like, you know what? At that point, I'd had friends that had moved out to LA, and they were all like working on TV shows and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was really more of my call to go to my at the time girlfriend and be like, let's move to California. I think it's time. And she didn't really want to come, but I did. So I talked her into it. And then we came out here, and of course she started booking huge TV shows right away, and I booked nothing for like a solid year. I was like, this is a fucking mistake. Let's move back. And
she's like, no, I'm crushing
yeah, she's literally like high-fiving Joel McHale. She was working on the Joel McHale show. I mean, I'll just give her resume now.
Yeah. Can you actually tag her in? Because I'd actually much prefer to talk to her. She's more successful.
Liz, come
here.
No, and then I started to book stuff out here, and it was better. It's, there are opportunities out here, but no, we came out here just being like, at the time I was 32, and I just thought, it's either going to happen or it's not. Like, I have to make the move. Like, I've gotten as good as I'm going to get in New York, and I feel like the opportunities are what they are here. Mm-hmm. And I know there's more out in LA, even if it's not being on a TV show. It's just like everybody out here is here to make it in something.
In some capacity.
And in New York, there's a lot of people who are just like happy to not get murdered on the subway.
Well,
very funny
real.
People, but like there's a balance between I'm in New York and I'm getting good. And then there's like, I'm in LA and I hate everything I do, but I'm trying to get famous. And there's like a thing in the middle where like you can also be trying to get better and have an eye towards your career in the future and marketing yourself or whatever.
Sure.
And so I feel like I spent enough time in New York to get good. And now I'm here to like, have a career as best I can.
Good for you. Okay. And so do you ever see yourself going back to New York?
Yeah. If we ever make a lot of money and we could do like bi-coastal or whatever.
Isn't that the dream? That really is a dream.
It would just be I would live in New York more because my family's on the East Coast and my wife's family's in New York. So, I mean, that's the hardest part about being out here is just all of our vacations are just going back to visit our family.
Yeah.
So I would like to just be closer to, family, but, I don't know. I tell myself I miss the city. And then when I go back and visit, I'm like, what
am I missing?
I'm just like, I remember the first time I went back to New York, I saw a homeless dude take a shit like 10 minutes in. Like I'd barely left LaGuardia. There's a dude taking a shit on the subway. Like I see his asshole open up and I'm like, yeah, maybe I don't miss it as much as I think I do. I know surfer dudes are annoying and people in LA are fake, but and by the way, now I see people shit in
I was just about to say, it happens all the time out here now.
Now it's like, fuck it, I might as well go back. I mean, I didn't realize it was going to be like the
bi-coastal shitting. Yeah, that's a lot.
No, I didn't realize I was going to be in the end of like the fucking the Warriors movie, trying to walk down Sunset Boulevard.
It's not gotten better since the pandemic. It's definitely it's real intense.
I'm sure you're going to ask me about my jobs. I worked at the Pantages Theater.
Oh well, we'll get there.
So I'm like right in the fucking thick of it. Okay,
we're gonna get there. Yeah. All right. Well, that gets us up to today. And so, all right, folks, we hope you enjoyed your apps. We're gonna move on to the entrees after a quick break.
What's the break?
Well, I built it in to eventually get funding for this bitch, and then this would be a commercial.
Wait, but is there going to be a commercial?
Well, in theory, there should be. Buy Windows or
when
whatever.
Does this air?
Whenever I feel like it, but
So,
it's
like,
not
years
going
from
well.
now.
It's not going well. So yeah, probably never. We'll just bank this one.
Can I tell you what I do for my podcast?
What do you
I put
do?
in fake ads.
Do you really?
I just
That's smart.
I just write joke ads.
That's funny.
That just have punchlines in them.
We do, but do you have actual sponsors that you
No.
could pitch it to? Is it for like
My
Jack in the
mom's
Box?
Etsy store sponsored one episode of the podcast. And then comedian Dave Yates has hot sauce that I saw him selling after a show one time. I was like, you want to just fucking sponsor an episode? I won't charge you. So it's like I've had a couple sponsors, but like
That's
not
amazing.
real sponsors.
I love it. Well, that was the goal. And someone was like, no, build-in breaks is your starting because eventually you can go back and retroactively add commercials. And I was like, all right, cool.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Until then, just like I have like NASA sponsor my podcast sometimes.
that's awesome.
I
Space.
just write.
This is sponsored by. This episode is sponsored by Space.
Although you should leave this part in forever
I
because
am.
this is really funny.
I am. I'm
You
going to
know?
leave it in. I'm doing the heavy lifting, but it is very funny. You're right. Okay. So.
And we're back.
And yep. You guys, we're starting a podcast together and it's going to be great. And it's eventually we'll get there. We are back. And now it's time for the entrees. Okay. Now I offered to send Eric the questions ahead of time, but he said, don't do that because I don't want to have answers chambered. So y'all, we're raw dogging these questions. So if he's funny, that means he's actually funny. So it's good.
I'd rather not know the questions than have my dog menacingly chewing a bone 3 inches from your face for the whole
Okay, good.
fucking
That's
show.
working. Okay, I'm into it. But he's very sweet.
Oh,
You
now
know,
you're petting him.
Yeah,
Oh, my
and
God.
he's giving little kisses to himself. It's very sweet. Okay. All right, this is the round of questions, okay? The ones you didn't see. What was your first job ever where the government was taking taxes out? So some people have said like babysitting or whatever the hell. But like, do you have a job where you were like, oh yeah, no, I did this pizza place or whatever the hell?
My first job, I was at Baskin Robbins when I was 15.
Oh, were you really? How
Mm-hmm.
was that? Ooh, the smells there though.
It was fine. I don't like love ice cream, which is weird.
Oh,
I guess.
You okay?
I don't know. It's fine. It's just not my. I'll
are
eat
you a
it.
salty person? Are you like more of a savory flavor?
I don't even know what I am. I like candy sometimes. I don't know why. I never got into ice cream that much.
Okay.
But-
so working there was probably easy then, so you weren't tasting everything.
I was
all
not
the time.
tasting everything, and girls would come in a lot, so I liked that. And it felt like a little bit of like in high school, you'd be like, I can give you a free scoop. If you come on
Look at
down
my
to the
balls.
Baskin Robbins on 123 in Vienna, Virginia.
And juggle my balls. And then I will give you a scoop of ice cream.
At
That's
15
good.
years old, I was too scared to let them see my balls, but I would give them mint chocolate chip,
Oh, that's nice. That specifically, that flavor?
specifically that flavor.
No matter what they ordered. They're like, I'd like strawberry. And you're like, tough shit.
I was like, you eat what I fucking tell you to eat. I was like, I have talking like a Me Too violator, but only for ice cream scoops.
Okay, that was your first job ever. What were you the scoop person? What was your title?
Yeah, I worked behind. You're the everything guy. You're the scoop guy. You make malts.
Oh,
I remember when you make malts,
Yeah.
it was like an extra. You had to add extra ingredients, and it was a real fucking eye roll moment every time.
because you're like, I don't want to add that milk.
Because only like old people. I say old people. I mean people my age now. But at the time when I was 15, like a 36-year-old was like a dinosaur. They'd come and be like, "I'll have a malt, please." You know, they're like in a walker because they're 36.
Well, that's Hollywood for you, baby.
Yeah.
that falls in line.
So like old people would order malts and we would really hate it. That's
Yeah.
what I remember.
What's the difference between a malt and a milkshake?
I still don't know.
I don't know either.
I just know like they had like a thing to scoop to put it in to make it the malt, and then it took longer for it to fucking turn into a milkshake.
I bet that it's like a malty chocolatey powder or something.
Probably.
Because like malt balls, I bet that's what you just look at you just answering it, figuring
I mean,
it
look,
out.
I was an employee there for a year, and my depth of knowledge of malts is as skin deep as was just revealed.
Okay, great.
Like if somebody asked for a malt and then went, "Hey, real quick, what is that?" I'd be like, "This could be rat poison. I don't know." They told me to put this in
And
the
so I
first day I
am.
was here, and so I hope no one's replaced this with poison. Otherwise, I've killed hundreds. I have no idea.
Oh, it's one of the bodies that your dog is eating. Okay, so you were a scoop person. We're going to try and be gender neutral scoop person at Baskin Robbins at 15. You lasted a year. So you were working during the school year?
Yeah.
How the fuck did you do that? Were you also playing sports?
Yeah, I was.
How does one do that?
I mean, I would work like very part-time. Like I think I probably worked like on the weekends a little bit.
But you play games on the weekends. So what you'd go?
Well, I rode crew.
Ooh, Ooh.
So we wouldn't. I'm trying to remember now. Geez, what was I doing? I probably was working like one day a week. It was very much a job for kids in high school.
Yeah.
Like there was no real reason to have an $8 an hour employee coming in once a week, but it was like
Cheaper than.
yeah, whoever owned Baskin Robbins was like, it'll teach them a lesson, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would work like a couple shifts during the week around whatever my schedule was for crew, and crew was only a couple months out of the year, so I wasn't doing sports the whole school year.
How would you bounce around with high schools though? How would you be on a crew team?
No, so once we moved to Northern Virginia when I was in 8th grade, and so from 8th grade to high school, there were some kids from my 8th grade class that went to my high school. That was the first year that I was in a school, the same school for 2 years, or I knew somebody at my school starting the school year. Like I had friends from 8th grade in my high school. And then from there, I was in the same high school.
Oh, okay.
So like my dad got out of the Army at that point.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Kind of settled in that area.
Okay. And so Baskin Robbins. So how many customer service jobs have you had? And feel free to count. Take your time.
Baskin Robbins.
That's number one.
I worked at the Rainforest Cafe.
And this is where we talked about that at the Halloween party, and we're going to talk about a lot more about that.
The Rainforest. I also worked at customer service. I worked at a app called Capital that was like customer service.
Okay.
I was a tour guide. That's 5.
Wait, tour guide where? Get specific. I know.
In New York. So I did like a 9/11 tour. I did like a Wall Street tour. I did like a Chinatown, Little Italy tour.
Okay.
Fuck, what other jobs? All waiting jobs count.
Yeah.
I've had like 30 waiting jobs.
Okay.
Like I worked at this place called Dante's when I moved to New York. I worked at the Melting Pot. I worked at this bar called oh my God, what was it called? When I was in college, that was my job in college.
Okay, keep going.
I worked at a timeshare company, which we would lie and say that it was customer service, but it was really just selling an invisible product to patsies. And then I would, what were my other jobs? Those are my college jobs. My high school jobs was Rainforest. And then when I came to New York, I was like, I passed stuff out on the street for Children's International in New York for a little bit.
Okay.
You know, like those people that like stop you and
yeah, like in Vegas where they're selling people.
Give to the children.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that. I was at a rehearsal studio.
Okay.
How did I forget that? I worked there for like 7 years. I was at a rehearsal studio where I eventually was a general manager, but I started off as like a desk receptionist.
Rehearsal for music or for a theater or for what was
Everything.
It?
It was in New York. It was like, just a general rehearsal studio.
Okay. What else?
I don't know how many jobs I've named.
31, 2, 3, 4.
I think that's everything.
36 jobs. Okay.
I think that's everything.
36.
I sold tickets at the Pantages, but that was more of a sales job probably.
But that dealt with customers.
Sure. Yeah.
So Pantages is 37.
Pantages.
Okay. Now I have so many questions, but I asked you when I first was talking to you at the Halloween party, wasn't working at the Rainforest Cafe awesome? Like, didn't everybody come there? Because didn't you work there at Mall of America? Did we talk about this?
No, I worked in DC.
DC. Okay. And you said it was awful. Why was it awful?
It was fun at moments because it was so awful. I feel like people bonded together, but I mean, I was young. It was my first real, like, I don't say real job. Like Baskin Robbins and Foster's Grill were real jobs, but not really.
It was your first survival job.
Yeah, like this was like I was in college and I was like using the money to pay for my rent.
Okay.
So yeah, like I remember they used to put me on like kids' nights at the Rainforest Cafe where kids ate for 99 cents.
Stop.
So it would be like a mom would come in with like 13 kids for a birthday. The mom would order a salad. So the total bill would be
$20.
Yeah, $20. And the kids are screaming and they like camp out in my section for 2 hours. So it was
do that.
So you'd work this long shift with a bunch of kids.
You make $10.
And you make like $10. It was also like, because it's the rainforest, you get a ton of tourists.
So can you explain to people, because I don't know that they even exist anymore, but they do. Yeah. Well, for anyone who wouldn't know, I love that kitschy Disney kind of bullshit, but Could you please explain what the experience is as soon as someone walks in?
So it's a stupid place where everything is dressed up like a rainforest, and there's
You
like
hate everything I love.
there's monkeys and gorillas, and there's like a dory fish that swims around in the fish tank, and there's thunderstorms that go on every 47 minutes.
It's my favorite thing.
And then in between the thunderstorms, they play the same 3 Gloria Estefan songs over and over again.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
And the food costs it's like $40 for a hamburger that was microwaved. The food is terrible.
Oh man, you're there for the experience.
You are definitely there for the experience. And I'll say this, like I've talked about it on stage a little bit, and every time I say I was a waiter at the Rainforest Cafe, people start clapping, people start laughing. I've gotten like applause breaks, and I'm like, it's not even a premise. It's just a sentence. I was a waiter at the Rainforest Cafe. Everybody knows it, and everybody remembers it as a kid. I don't think our friends are old enough to have taken kids there and been like, this place fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I have a headache. Get me the hell out of here. We all remember it as kids. And as kids, you're like, I'm in the Rainforest Cafe. Like kids are like, they're losing their minds.
Oh yeah. I loved it.
But that's not good for tips.
Yeah.
That the parents are annoyed and in a bad mood.
Yeah.
No. So that's why it really was not a very good job as a waiter. But I acknowledge that like it's fun if you're young, obviously.
But would you, because it was mostly tourists and people taking advantage of the 99-cent nights, would you not make a lot of money in tips there?
No, I also didn't make a lot of money because I was a terrible waiter.
Wait, why?
I was so bad at it.
Why were you bad?
I'm very forgetful.
Oh, really?
I would not put in orders like half my tables.
Just not put in an order?
No, like I would write down an order, and then I would go to the POS system to put it in, and then I would just think about like a fight I had with my dad. And then like an hour later, the table's looking at me. I'm like, the kitchen's having issues. Oh fuck! I'm the most. Even telling my wife I used to work as a waiter, she's like, how? I don't trust you to walk downstairs and remember that you went to go get a glass of water. You used to get people's food orders. It's insane.
Wait, but you had like 30 waiting tables jobs.
Because who cares if you're bad at it? They'll keep hiring you. They're not going to call up your references.
Yeah, but you're not making any money if you're bad at it.
Yeah, but whatever.
Who cares?
What else was I qualified to do? Like I wasn't qualified for another job. Like
that's right.
Anybody can wait table. Waiting tables is what you do right before you murder somebody in your life. Like it's the last stop before prison. So the
You're
crew.
So rude.
You know that crew. That crew.
Oh yeah. Oh, I worked with them.
I knew a lot of people that were snorting their tips away at night. So at least I didn't do that.
Hello. Also true. Okay. So which was your favorite of all of your 37 customer service jobs?
My favorite?
Yeah.
Being a tour guide was fun.
Really?
In New York, yeah.
Even the 9/11 door?
The 9/11 door was insane.
Wait,
the 9/11 door was crazy.
Why?
Well, because I remember training for it, and so to train, you just follow somebody else. You pretend like you're in the group, and you just watch somebody else do the full 2-hour tour. And I'm watching it, and it's like super, like it feels very like emotionally manipulative how the tour is.
Sure.
And I remember we get to the part where they're like the fountain is now there.
The memorial fountain.
And they had just finished it too, so it was like new at the time. Because remember, it took like
a long time,
12 years after 9/11.
It was 2014.
Yeah,
13 to 14
insane.
that they finished that. Yeah.
So you're showing that, and this guy, I'm watching my colleague give this tour, and I'm deciding if I'm going to do this tour, like if I'm going to be a tour guide for it, because you also had to have a personal connection to it, to 9/11. And my dad worked in the Pentagon on 9/11, so he didn't die, but it was an inside job. He knew it was coming, so he stepped outside. It's a good job.
That's a wrap.
It's a good
the
joke,
podcast
right?
is over now.
No, so I had a personal connection. So they're like, okay, you can give the tour. So I'm like deciding if I'm going to do it. And the guy's talking at the fountain, and he's going like, he's telling a story of like this woman that was like trapped on the 90th floor. And so she had to make the choice to like jump or not. And so she like put her lipstick on, and she held her dress down, and she jumped, and she was a lady till the very end, holding her dress as she fell. And I'm listening to him say this, and I'm like,
he made that up. There's no way he knows
whether he
that
made
story.
it up or not. I'm like, this feels gross.
Yeah.
I'm like, even if that's true, like, who wants to hear that shit? Like,
yeah.
It feels like it. I don't know. I'm not
You're
smart. I'm not
commercializing.
smart enough to say it. Yeah, but it's like it just feels like you're not. being genuine about how fucking sad that is,
100%.
right? And so then he dismisses the tour. Like they're like, okay, go walk around for 15 minutes. And he comes up to me. He's like, hey man, what do you think? Is this something you want to do? And I'm like, no, man, that made me feel really uncomfortable. Like, I'm just being honest. I don't know if I could do this every day. And he goes, I make $400 a tour on tips on this. Anyway, cut to me a week later telling the exact same story about
No,
the lady.
you
I'm like, and I
didn't.
made it even worse. I was
Oh,
like,
no, you didn't.
and she's singing the Star Spangled Banner as she goes, like $400 a tour? Are you kidding me? What kind of value is that for your time? 2 hours, $400? I'll
my
take
God.
it. So I just threw all my morals aside and told that story.
Oh my
I'd talk about my dad working in the Pentagon, and I would say it in a way where it sounded like he was dead for a little bit, and then I would reveal that he's alive. But I would really. And
You're a bad
here's the
person.
way I'm joking, but here's the way I actually justified it: is the guy was like, "Listen, man, they paid to go on the 9/11 tour. They're paying for
the
this.
stories.
You didn't
Yeah.
pull random people off the street
That's
to come
right.
torture them with these sad stories. They want to hear them." And then, so I did that for like a year, and I wasn't only doing 9/11 tours. I was doing there's 8 different tours in New York you could give with this company, but that was one of the ones that I was trained on.
Yeah.
A lot of people would bring their kids and would go, "Hey, we haven't told them about 9/11 yet."
You're about to tell them for the first
I would
fucking
tell
time?
kids about 9/11
No.
all the time.
Would they cry? I mean, kids can't conceptualize how
it's
terrible
like
that
telling
is.
a kid about but they wouldn't cry. It would be like telling. It was like when I learned about Pearl Harbor, I didn't weep. I was just 10. Like, okay, that sucks.
A bunch of people died.
Oh,
Got it.
no.
Oh, it's like boring.
But I felt very. To me, it was wild to think about. Obviously, where I was on 9/11. My dad was in the Pentagon. It was a crazy day.
Yeah,
blah
it
blah
was.
blah.
Yeah.
And here's these people that weren't even alive for it.
Jesus.
That are just staring at me like, okay, yeah, little 10-year-olds.
Well, because it literally
idea.
happened 20 years ago. So it's like,
Yeah,
that's
but
such
in 2015 or whatever, when I'm
Sure.
giving the tour, if somebody was 12,
they were
weren't alive
definitely
for
not
it.
alive yet.
So that happened all the time.
So then how would you, I mean, so you tell obviously that story of the woman that allegedly someone remembered put her lipstick on her, whatever the hell, which is such a made up story. Would you
And
make up any,
there were literally dozens of stories like that.
would you make up other ones?
I wouldn't make them up. I mean, they were stories that they trained you on. They were
Oh, you're getting these from the institution that you're giving the tour for?
yeah, they had a script.
Woohoo! Wow.
I don't remember if that specific one with the lady in the skirt jumping was
putting
in the
on her
script.
lipstick.
But
It's
there was scripts about the 9/11 museum that they were building, the fire trucks that were fully intact. There was you would just walk around the site
And
you'd
point
be
stuff out.
right here was where this was and right here was this, and then it was a whole. I mean, it was 2 hours.
But my thing would be if I were on the tour and I heard you say she put her lipstick on and she put her hands down and made sure her skirt was, I'd be like, so somebody lived and was able to report back because she's not the one recounting the story of how she put on her own
I
lipstick
think there was
and held her
I think we
skirt.
said there was a video of it or something.
Good God.
I mean, it's so morose to even
Yeah.
dive into it now. As I'm saying it, I'm like, it is disgusting.
Yeah.
But like I said, at the time,
You
you're
needed the money.
broke.
Yeah, you
you're a
needed the money.
broke
Artist.
improviser.
Blame improv
in New
again.
York.
Okay. For profiting off 9/11.
No, you
Okay.
I mean, have you ever been to that museum?
Yeah, it's real intense. I was there. I was there the weekend it opened.
Okay, so
Or weekend after. Sorry.
if you go into that museum, that story I just told,
Yeah.
there's stories like
Everywhere.
that fucking all the way through it.
Well, and there's people that have written stories about their experience and blah, blah. It's the short of the Holocaust Museum in DC rivals the level of intensely sad.
I used to give tours of that too.
Fuck off.
I'm just kidding.
Do it right now. Take me on the tour. Okay, well, we're gonna get away from 9/11 because this is.
Let's stay on it.
No, I'm
a little
moving
bit more.
past it. Let's talk about flappers again. Okay, I want to know because I have to know because I don't know that it will get to it with these questions. For the timeshare company, how the fuck did you get roped into working for one of those?
So it happened after 9/11. See, there was this lady that was
Stop!
hanging off the building.
No.
Okay.
Veto.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're not.
How did I get roped into timeshare?
Yeah, because that was in New York City.
Yeah, I was. No,
just walking around?
No, timeshare was in Colonial Williamsburg.
Stop.
'cause
My
I wa-
mom loves Williamsburg. Wait, are you about to talk shit about Williamsburg? I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to.
I actually was going
Are
to
you
talk some
really?
shit about Williamsburg.
Okay, well, tell me the
I
inside
hate
baseball.
everything you love.
What you do? You do.
I hate
That's the
everything.
name of this podcast. Now I know the episode's name. Wait, why timeshares in Williamsburg though?
Yeah, I sold timeshares in Colonial Williamsburg.
How'd you get roped into that?
I needed a job. I had just stopped working at the Melting Pot, which is one of my. I think it was at the Melting Pot. I was like, I can't be a waiter anymore. I'm really not good at it. I'd done it all through college, all through high school. That's how I supported myself.
Inexplicably, because you couldn't remember to put in orders.
I hated it. Like I was too dumb to realize this. Now I realize I have I have really bad plantar fasciitis.
Oh my God,
but
really?
like as a kid, I was just like, if you admit you're hurting, you're gay. So I just didn't ever take care of it. But as a waiter, I'd be like, man, my feet really fucking hurt
All the time.
It was and other waiters would be like, man, my feet are aching. And I'd be like, I could cry if I focus on how much my feet hurt right now.
Jesus.
Because whatever, it's just an untreated medical problem
Sure.
to not, get the right shoes or whatever.
Right.
So
You needed old people shoes.
I think that was like orthopedics
Yeah.
or whatever. Now there's exercises I do, and I'm an old man, so I fucking take care of my feet. But
I'm so glad we're talking about this. Let's get way more specific about what you do for your feet. Let's really make
I
it
wear
weird.
compression
We're
socks.
done. I actually do too. These are compression socks. What I have on right now, I live in them.
Oh, nice.
But keep going. So you're like, I hate this.
So I hate
can't.
this. I need another job, and my friend was like, I'm passing out. All I do is I just sign people up for these tours in Williamsburg. I stand at a podium outside of the outlet malls, and I just people give me 20.
Virginia, I guess.
In Virginia, Colonial Williamsburg.
Oh, because Virginia.
I hadn't moved to New York yet.
Oh, okay.
This is right around the time where I'm being like, I think I want to move to New York.
Got
and
it.
do comedy. I have $0. I should probably save up some money.
Okay.
So I get this job just like handing out, getting people to give me $20 as a deposit to go take a tour. So I wasn't giving the tour. I was sending them into the tour. It was called off-property contact, OPC work.
God.
And I did that for like 3 months. I was psychopathically good at it. Like I was really like I would, I'm really going to come off like a piece of shit here, but
Too late. Yeah, it happened.
I would, so sometimes I would like just hang out in the Friendly's parking lot, like kind of like in my car, like a, like
Stalker.
like a rapist. Yeah. And then I would wait to see, I would like look at who had out of town plates. And then if I saw a family walk out to their car and I'm like, oh, they're from North Carolina, I would get out of my car and I would just pretend to walk by their car and be like, oh, are you guys from North Carolina? Oh my God, this is so crazy. I have this I have this tour that people can go on tomorrow. Were you planning on going to Busch Gardens? Yeah, I can give you some discount tickets here. Yeah, come over, check this out. And I would sign them up in the parking lot of Friendly's.
Would they show up for the tour?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
They would give me $20. It's a non-refundable deposit. They only get it back once they show up for their tour. So I would make them.
Did you start that rule or that was the rule?
No, that was the rule.
That's smart.
This isn't even the worst.
Oh, God.
The worst version is I would wait by this road where you would come off the highway into Williamsburg. And if, again, a North Carolina plate or wherever, anywhere that's not Virginia, I know it's a tourist, would come onto the road, I would just pull my car up next to them at the light because it was a long light. Oh. And I would wave to them. I'd go, hey, roll your window down on the street in my car next to their car. I would go, follow me.
Oh my God.
And then when the light turned
They
green,
would follow you?
I would speed up my car, get in front of them, and I would just pull off onto the side of the road. And then they would, half of the time, they would just follow me because people are sheep.
Because people want to die.
And then I would get out of my car. I would put my hands up to show like no weapon.
Erick!
And I would approach them.
Oh my God.
And when I get about 5 feet away from their car, I would just motion with my hand, roll your window down.
This is psychotic. Is this real? Tell me this is all real.
And then I would go, hey, I'm sorry. I just noticed out of town plates. And I would pull out my little tour thing and be like,
Erick,
I was wondering if you were planning on going to Busch Gardens while you're in town. And they would roll their window down like that much.
Because they were going to get murdered.
And I would slide the little thing into their car and be like, just take a look at it. It's an hour-long tour, and we hook you up with 3 tickets for the kids.
Would they give you $20 out the window?
Yes,
then?
and if they didn't have $20, I would drive them to the ATM that I knew was right around the block.
Well,
and they would just follow me to the bank and get their $20 out.
And they would be totally happy because they were getting free tickets to Busch Gardens.
I don't know if they were happy. I think they felt
terrified,
violated. And as I say it now, not unlike the 9/11 tour, I realize that I've done some unsavory things for money.
A couple.
But that is how I saved up. And that, by the way, this was all like that summer
Okay.
after I graduated. And then I was so good at all of this that they promoted me to run like East Coast trade shows for the company.
I'll bet, because you're getting in everybody.
So then I would like I would drive to Baltimore from Colonial Williamsburg and do like a gun show. It would be like all guns and people, and then like just a Colonial Williamsburg tent. And I would pitch people Colonial Williamsburg. I would sell them vacation packages and.
Well, that's history, so I could see that cleaning up at a gun show.
I did that for I worked at that company for a year. I saved up like 10 grand, maybe a little bit more, maybe like 15 grand. And then,
was it commission based?
Yes, mostly commission.
So that's why you were so gangster about it.
Yeah,
You're like, I'm gonna get my money.
It's my paycheck.
Sure.
And then I moved to New York and I promptly lost all my money in like 6 months. It was
that's all. I can't believe it lasted you that long. 15 grand, you'd be done in 2 months out
I'd
here.
spent it all on classes, like
of course.
improv and everything.
Living there is enormously expensive. That's meals. That's whatever else.
I was squatting in a condemned building in New York by the third month I was there, and I did that for a year and a half.
Squatted in a condemned building?
I sound
How are you not dead? You sound like a murderer or someone who should be dead. You like vacillate between those two.
Yeah.
That's God bless your wife. So wait, I want to go back.
All this craziness was done by the time I met her.
Of course.
She met me. I was like a man whose feet hurt. And was like wanted to get into stand up, but
you weren't following people off the road.
She's like, if I had known you when I was 22, I would have never fucking talked to you. I'm like, yeah,
it sounds about right.
I was still a very nice guy, but I lived a
different life.
I lived a bohemian lifestyle.
You did. I have squatting questions, but I want to go back to you hate Williamsburg. These were timeshares at Williamsburg?
I'm sure I'd be fine with Williams. I never went to Williamsburg as a kid to like experience it.
See,
I only knew it as like the place where I would follow people around in my car to sell them tickets to this fucking hell tour.
Wait, but it really was for a timeshare for
it was for a timeshare pitch.
For Williamsburg, though.
For Colonial Williamsburg, yeah. Like it was like the place was in Williamsburg.
Oh.
So it was. I'm not going to say the name of the company.
I wish you would.
But I could say you'll have to bleep it.
Oh no, don't do it then.
Okay.
Give me more work. God damn you! I hate you so much.
I'm so sorry. That was like a bad part of me that did that. I don't know. I'm so sorry.
The sociopath part of you. Okay, good.
That was.
The 75%
I really feel bad that I did that.
9/11 tours. You should feel worse about.
You have to. No, I feel bad about this. There was no reason to do that. That was like
you're a comic. Of course, there was a reason to do that.
You came over to my house to record a podcast, and I said, "Fuck you! Edit out the name." That was a horrible thing.
Listen, it's honest.
I don't want to move past this. I am really upset that I am that person.
Yourself. You know, it's because you're tapping into the 9/11 tour guy right now.
So what it is.
Yeah, you're like, that guy's back.
I am a bad boy. Bad boy said the name. Oh,
my feet don't just hurt. I'm a sociopath.
What a dick.
No, it's okay.
It's so funny. Sorry.
No, I teed you up for a joke. You had to do it. It's my fault. Okay, so God, I can't get past this. Okay, so timeshares you worked in all kinds of craziness. Which was your favorite of all of these jobs?
Of all of these jobs?
Yeah. You don't think say comedy.
I told you, the tours were my favorite.
Oh, I did ask you this already.
Yeah, the tours
I got so distracted by the time shooting. Okay. Tours were 9/11 tours where you made up stories about dead people.
Well, no. Hang on. No.
I just want to get very clear.
The 9/11 tours were not my favorite.
Oh, okay.
The tours are my favorite because I also did like Little Italy.
Oh, okay.
And Chinatown, and like we get to get food, and
I'm glad
people would try like cheesecake. Like it was fun.
Okay.
Like,
so you
the
were
9/11
performing.
tour was one of. I think I probably got trained on close to 10 tours by the time I was done being a tour guide. Because they would keep adding on new ones. And sometimes they would go like, oh, does anybody think they could write a script for a Central Park tour? And if you could, they'd be like, okay, they put it on the website. If 10 people signed up, take them out.
That's awesome.
So like I never did that, but anytime somebody wrote a script, I would always go, I'll do it.
Oh, that's super
fun. So I never wrote it, but I would always be like the first person to like try to do it after the person who wrote it did it.
Got it. Okay.
Because I was like, oh, if this is successful, I'll get a bunch of the tours. I'll be the only other person trained on it.
That's super fun.
So
it was a performance opportunity, really.
Yeah, it was. Yes, and I had jokes, and you get to interact with people.
Do you have a tight five about 9/11? Go ahead. What were you about to ask me?
I don't have a tight five on 9/11.
What were you about to ask?
Do you know who's the lady on Shark Tank?
I'm bad with the names.
Older lady. She's wily.
So she's
Barbara.
35. Barbara. Okay.
Barbara Corcoran.
Okay.
Came on a tour.
Oh.
when I was a tour guide, but I didn't have cable in New York, so I didn't know who she was. And because I didn't know who she was, I showed up. All the other tour guides were like fighting. And my manager goes, Eric, do you know who Barbara Corcoran is? I was like, no. He was like, perfect. She's on your tour. Because they don't want people
to freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
So I actually thought Barbara Corcoran was like, I guess she came with her daughter and her grandson. I thought the daughter was the famous person.
The famous one, sure.
So I did the tour. It was fine.
Was it 9/11? What tour was it?
No, I did the Soho Little Italy Chinatown tour with them.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then afterwards, we're hanging out in like the 5 Points district, which is where like Gangs of New York took place.
Yeah, sure.
It looks very different now. It's like a
Sure
kids'
does.
playground.
Yeah.
And the lady I thought was Barbara Corcoran was pushing her kid on the swing. And the lady I thought was just like Barbara Corcoran's grandma. Was talking to me, and we're just shooting the shit. And she goes, "This is a really fun tour. Tips me $100." And I go, "Oh, that might be Barbara Corcoran." Oops. But again, had never seen her before. No idea what she did. Just knew that other people on the tour wanted her to be on their tour, and the boss wouldn't let them. Anyway, a week later, me and my wife got cable for the first time.
And you saw her on TV?
And I started watching Shark Tank. I was like, fucking shit, that was Barbara Corcoran. I could have asked her to, like, I was literally like funding a fucking movie at that time that I made. I was like, oh man, that would have been perfect.
Yeah, you could have fleeced her for more cash.
I had no idea who she was.
Missed.
I had no idea who she was.
Yeah, that's the only reason to meet famous people is to steal their money. Yeah. All right, which was your least favorite of all those jobs?
My least favorite?
It sounds like any of the serving jobs were.
Yeah, what was my least favorite? I think my least favorite job was probably this one serving job I had for like 6 months. It was this place called I think I mentioned it.
You did
when I was counting.
Yeah,
and it was like a what do you call it? Like a front store for drugs.
Shut the fuck up.
Like I shouldn't have said that either. Maybe bleep that out.
Okay.
Maybe bleep out the name of the place.
Thank you for so many opportunities to.
I'm so sorry. I just realized now that I shouldn't have said that.
Right. Edit it out.
But you keep this part where I'm backtracking.
Okay, I will.
I said it once before.
Thanks for so many notes.
Okay.
I got it. I'll remember.
Okay, cool.
God.
So sorry. We're 56 minutes in.
We're doing great. There's only 2 hours left.
This is the worst episode of your podcast you ever
of all
done.
time, actually, of all time. Thank you folks so much for listening. That's going to do it for us here at Service from Hell for part 1 of 2 with comedian Erick Hellwig. Eric will have just returned by the time this airs from the San Francisco Sketch Fest on January the 7th. But don't fret, you can see him in Idaho on January 22nd for the Moscow Comedy Night. If you can't make it there, he's going to be in Paris, Texas for the Tower City Comedy Festival January 27th through the 29th. This is all of 2022. And then, couldn't find him there? Well, don't fret, fly to Hawaii. You can see him at the Aloha Comedy Festival February 24th through the 27th. He'll be there making you laugh. All of that info and more we will have in the show notes, but also you can visit his website at erichellwig.com for more info there. Thank you folks for listening. We're going to see you next week for part 2.